The new Indigo Disk DLC for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet has brought some great features into the games, like being able to catch every returning starter Pokémon in the wild. And today I'll show you exactly where and how we can find them all. Let's go. Alright, now there's a few important things to know before we get started. So the very first thing is you do need to have access to the club room, so that way we can use this computer. So once you get access to the computer, you'll notice there's a bunch of different clubs that you can contribute your blueberry points to. And this allows you to unlock various new features throughout the game. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll notice these biodiversity boosts that can be purchased, and each one that we purchase unlocks a group of starter Pokemon that can then be found in that particular biome. So there's 4 in total, with 1 for each biome. It's not cheap. You need to contribute 3,000 blueberry points for just 1. And if you want to be able to catch these starter Pokemon in the wild, we're going to need a total of 12,000 BP. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is not by any means a quick process. I'm gonna say it's a bit of a grind. So how it all works, if you're not familiar with how to earn these blueberry points, very early on in the DLC, you're gonna get access to this menu right here. Now you'll always have a minimum of 3 quests available to you at a time. So how it works is while you're out in the terrarium, you're gonna be able to see that there's a bunch of little mini challenges that you can do to earn blueberry points. When you complete 10 tasks, you'll be given an extra bonus task that's worth extra BP. Now I think it's important to mention that when you first start completing these quests, they're not going to be worth a lot of BP, but the more that you complete them, eventually Savanna will call you, then you'll start getting tasks that are worth a bit more. Eventually he'll call you for a second time, where then you can start earning even more BP for the regular tasks. So I'm just going to give you guys some very quick recommendations and tips that I use to help me earn that BP. Now when it comes to earning these blueberry points, it's best to target the tasks that can be done the quickest, and not necessarily the ones that give the most amount of BP, because some of these challenges can be considered a little too time consuming, like hatching an egg, making a TM, or even winning a Terra raid. And while these tasks are simple, like making a TM, it's not the challenge itself, but rather the amount of time that it takes. If you have to make a TM, you're going to need to take the time to travel over to a TM machine, go through the menus, create a TM, and so forth. Now, I'm not saying to never do these ones, but I would suggest going for the quick and easy ones, so that way you can rack up the points faster. Some of my favorite challenges, like sneaking up on a Pokemon where you don't even need to battle them, you can just run away, taking a picture of a swimming or flying Pokemon, or auto battling 10 Pokemon. So a lot of these types of challenges can be done fairly quickly and are pretty simple, and will earn you around 20 to 40 BP or more. Also, another tip, if you find a task is a little bit too time consuming, so maybe you're not near any bug type Pokemon, you don't feel like traveling to a different biome, what you can do is if you select it, just change it. It does cost you 10 BP, which isn't too much, but if you change it, then you can get something simpler, like traveling over 500 yards, which it's not going to earn you as much BP, but it is something that you will contribute towards as you're completing these other tasks. Just remember, if you have a challenge that seems a little too time consuming, don't be afraid to change the task. So these are all little tips and things that I found helped me out while I was preparing to make this video and trying to grind out that BP. Now, if there's one big piece of advice I can give you guys and tell you what the true best way to earn these blueberry points are, honestly, I would suggest joining a union circle and playing with 3 other players. This to me is by far probably the best and easiest way to grind out blueberry points. Each individual player will get 3 tasks plus 1 bonus task. The best part about this, everyone shares the same amount of battle points when the tasks are done. But here's where things really change. Each time you finish 10 tasks and complete the bonus task, it will go towards a special counter. If you complete 3 bonus tasks, you'll then be given a group challenge that's worth the most amount of BP. So if you manage to get into a group where everyone's working together on these tasks, you're going to find these blueberry points start to accumulate fairly quickly. Now, of course, I know not everyone has people to play with, and unfortunately, there is no way to just play with randoms online, because you do need to create or join a group that has a specific code. So if anyone is having a hard time gathering people for a union circle, I'll put a link to my Discord in the description below this video. So feel free, if you guys want to join it, that's totally cool and up to you. That way you guys have a space where you can share your codes and work together to earn those battle points. Alright, so once we finally gather up enough points, we can now finally expand our biomes and get those starters. So let's head on over back to the League Club room. Okay, access the computer. So there you go. Now you can see certain Pokemon like Charmander in the Savanna biome. Alright, so now that you've purchased all the upgrades, we will see starter Pokemon start roaming around in the wild. So they did bring back every single starter Pokemon from past generations. The only thing is you can't catch the Paldean starters. But we have 24 starter Pokemon to catch, so I'm just going to go over each of their locations quickly, and I'll be sure to put chapters in this video so you can search by biome as well. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Starting things off with the Savanna biome, Charmander can be found pretty much anywhere in the grass, primarily in the center of the Savanna biome. Totodile can be found in a couple small areas. You can find Totodile swimming in the muddy waters. Snivy, like Charmander, can be found mostly in grassy areas. You'll find Snivy in the northeastern side of the Savanna biome. Fennekin can also be found in grassy areas, only in the west side of the biome. Probably the easiest one to find in the Savanna biome, you can find Rowlet pretty much everywhere. And lastly, wrapping things up in the Savanna biome, like Totodile, you can find Sobble in specific muddy bog waters. Moving things on to the coastal biome, Chikorita could be found in the central and southern part of the biome, and can also be found on a couple different islands at the north side of it as well. Froakie could be found on the north side of the biome, primarily on the beaches and in the water. And with Popplio, it's pretty much the same thing. You can find Popplio also in the water and on the beaches, mostly in the central and northern part of the biome, but you can also find it in other areas too. Grookey can be found mostly in the grassy areas and also on the beaches. You can find it in the southeastern part of the biome. Bulbasaur can be found on the southwestern side of the biome. Now you are going to need to climb a little bit here and get to the higher areas. You can find it in the grassy areas closer to where the waterfalls are. And wrapping things up, Mudkip has a very specific location, so he did take me a bit of time to locate, but if you go to this area right here, just enter the cave and here's where you'll find Mudkip. Moving up north to the polar biome, Piplup can be found pretty much everywhere in the central and the northern part. You'll be able to find Piplup where there's water. When it comes to Oshawott, it's the exact same thing, same locations, also found right where Piplup is, in and near the water. Scorbunny could be found away from the water, pretty much anywhere near the mountain areas on the central and the east side of the biome. And like Scorbunny, Chimchar has the exact same locations as well. Check near the mountaintop areas to find Chimchar. Now these next three Pokemon have very specific cave locations in the polar biome. So Cyndaquil can be found right here on the northeastern part of the map, right inside this little cave. Chespin, on the other hand, can be found inside of the Charged Stone Cave, and because the cave is so large, technically it can also be found in the canyon biome as well. And lastly, we have Torchic, which was actually pretty difficult to find. Torchic can be found in one very specific cave location. So if you head to this location here behind the Polar Plaza, just up on this mountain area, you'll see this very small cave opening with a terastallized Metang inside. So Torchic can be found here. If you don't see it at first, just keep entering and exiting the cave until it shows up. Ending things off with the canyon biome, Squirtle can be found on the southern central area of the map, close to these bodies of water here. Tepig, on the other hand, could be found on the southern and eastern sides of the map. You can honestly just find them running around pretty much everywhere on the ground. I found a lot of them close to the divider between the savanna and canyon biomes. Now Trico can be found only in a very specific area. It's actually where the bridge is on the southern part of the biome. You are going to need to go past the bridge and climb upward in order to find Trico. Now Turtwig can be found mostly on the northern central area of the biome. It can be found in a very large area. I found mine by climbing up this mountain in this grassy spot right here. And ending things off, we have Litten, which can also be found exactly where Turtwig is. I found mine in the exact same spot that I found the Turtwig. And there you guys have it, all 24 returning starter Pokemon that are available to catch in the wild in this Indigo Disk DLC. So there you guys go. Enjoy your starter Pokemon, shiny hunt them, do whatever it is you want to do, and just have fun. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more Indigo Disk coverage. I do make a lot of Pokemon videos and other Nintendo related content as well. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next video.